Hi guys.
Hi everyone, how are you today? We're doing fine. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we hope it's just as nice where you're at as it is here. One of the first nice days we've had in a while. We've been kind of stuck in the house with blustery weather. Shoot, it was snowing yesterday. So, anyway, we're here to chat with you all, answer some questions, and kind of get acquainted with those of you that have joined us over the last year or so.
We um yeah, I need to cut and start over.
No, you don't. Just talk.
I'm looking at myself in the picture and it's delayed, and so I got all flabbergasted. We want to welcome everybody. We're a little bit early, a minute or two, but this is our first live stream, so well, we'll just kind of say hey for the next couple of minutes and let people get a chance to get in here. I see somebody's here right now, or maybe a couple. I don't know how to even read this thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let us know in the comments if you can hear us okay. I do have it turned on, but it's not very loud right now. I'm going to turn it up a little.
Yeah, if you're having problems with the audio, let us know, and we'll, the guru here will tweak it and do what he can to fix it.
So when you see me look away, it's because I'm looking at the volume over on my left.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's your left or your right, but it's this way for me.
He's over there.
We must be getting out there okay because nobody's talking.
Okay.
See, we still have that little... Excuse the icon down in the lower right of the screen. I have no clue how that got in there. I recognize it, but I don't know how it got in there. It's not supposed to be on the stream.
These things happen. We're not professionals. We don't ever claim to be. We're just a couple of old folks who are living the life that we want to live. And that's, and you guys are coming along to have a peek in every now and again of the things that we do over here out on the high desert of Arizona.
This is our beautiful home behind us that you see. Of course, I'm lying, and that's the reason we're all flickery and stuff, because we're trying to use a background program instead of showing our mess.
Yeah, much preferred. Much preferred. You'll like this a lot better than you would like looking at my very cluttered trailer.
Okay, hi Stephen. It says that we're slightly echoing. Did I just fix that, or let me know in the comments if you would?
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, when you ask questions and stuff, I'm going to try to repeat the question so that others who are not here in the chat later can see what the question was. Oh, hi Cash. Didn't know you'd find us here. How are you today?
Awkward silence.
Stephen, who is, we play a very graphically intensive dinosaur survival game called Ark. Some of you may know it, some of you may not. I've been playing since 2019. Mike's been playing since 2017. He got on before I did because I just didn't play computer games, and it's evolved into something we really enjoy, and this is one of the people, and he has been just a hoot to play with. He's kind of brand new to it. He's only has about 1,000 hours playing. I have over 7, and yeah, really clocking in on 8. And it's just he's a great player, and he's a lot of fun. And we've had a very good time together, and we're looking forward to a lot more fun days playing on our computer games. So, but
I hate Ark. It's like a drug or something, to where I hate it, but I can't stop myself.
Well, he gets eaten a lot. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So the dinosaurs find him very tasty.
Okay, we must still have the audio.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He says it's definitely a drug. Yeah, it is. He's as addicted as we are. So, and he said the audio is better. Okay, good, good.
Okay, so Judy and I got married back in 1999 before Y2K. Oops, I keep flashing out. Before Y2K, and I saw as a computer person quite a few issues that actually did happen during that time, but overall, we were all saved because so much was said about it that most everything got fixed. Anyway, we got married in '99, and we lived in a small town in Idaho, or just outside of. And after a few years, we decided to go off grid. So we bought a ranch, 117 acres, and moved there. And we lived there and worked there and raised animals and
Learned a huge amount. Um, like Mike said, way back then, you know, you can talk a lot about it and you can study a lot about everything from animal husbandry to gardening to taking care of to whatever it is. But until you get mud on your boots, you don't really know anything. And that's kind of what we want to teach and show to other people is that you got to get out there and start doing it. Um, Even if it's just a little at a time. Learning is great, but you've got to have that real life experience of actually doing it. And believe me, we have had our share of successes and failures. Um, but what we've gained is a huge amount of knowledge that we would like to, through this little channel, pass on to those who want that knowledge, and take that knowledge and put it to work and start doing it yourself. Because if we can do it, you can do it. We don't have money, we don't have a bunch of property, we don't have positions, we didn't have great bank accounts. We started with just what we could put together with our own efforts, and it's been an up and down 25 years.
I just disappeared.
And so it's just, we're just here to share some of that with you folks and some of the things that we know. So anyway.
So after doing that for many years, we raised everything from rabbits, chickens, turkeys, sheep, cows. Um, we tried goats once before we moved off grid, and we'll never do them again.
Oh, no.
And we learned, like she said, a lot. We were far enough off grid that even if we wanted power, we couldn't have it. And we were up in a canyon. Beautiful, beautiful area. Um, After the kids moved out, we sold off everything and we went on the road RVing for 8 years.
8 years.
And we went around the western side of the country doing different jobs. Like in the summer, we'd go to Yellowstone or something, and in the winter, we always found ourselves back in Yuma.
Yeah.
So in the middle there, for another day, we had a restaurant for a time back up in Idaho. But when my health was going bad, and so I retired at 62, and as soon as Judy retired, we moved up here to this place here in the high desert of Arizona, northeastern side, and started over. It was 40 acres of just not desert. We're in a forest, as you can see in the videos that we're in what's called a juniper forest, but we're in the high desert, and it's hot and dry in the summer, and it's cold and dry in the winter, and we don't have any animals other than these two dogs. So we're concentrating right now on gardening and trying to build up from bare land. It was just completely bare. So we've got systems up now, and we'll talk about those in a little bit, of what we've done so far. And I'm trying to make these videos. We started out doing the videos for us and for our children. And as time went on, other people started watching our videos. And then I met a friend, Mike, who has another channel. He was a nomad in his RV, and he is also settled in kind of the same area as us, close enough that we were able to meet, and decided to go ahead and pick it up a notch and make my videos just a little bit more serious or fun. Try to have some content for you guys. We can't do videos every day. I can't even guarantee every week because of the way things are here. There's just no content, or we're just too busy trying to stay alive. So working out all the issues and dealing with things like a road that you can't drive on if it actually does rain, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And we just, unfortunately, and that's one of the things that we will try to get as many videos out as we can, but like today, didn't even think about it. I was cleaning out the worm bin, and we should have showed all of that, but I get into it, and I'm into my wrist full of muck, and then I go, oh, maybe we should be filming this. Oh well, too late. And that's just the way our life goes. That's one of the reasons why we're here on this kind of thing, because if you have questions, then we can answer them. We can talk you through some of these things, so that you can actually get a better understanding or idea of what you want to do and how you want to do some of these things. Because out here, we've had some real challenges, and one of those is building soil, and that's why the worms are important. Because if I'm going to grow vegetables and food for both me and animals, it's one of the reasons we don't have the animals. Okay, I digress. We don't have a bunch of livestock here because I don't want to be spending all my money down at the feed store to keep the livestock. I don't have the ability to have a pasture here or to make pasture, so anything would be on hay or bagged feed or whatever. But I am going to put in animals as I know I can feed them by sprouting and kitchen scraps and growing certain things and stuff, and having them eat garden waste and all these other things. And when I can grow enough food to keep them going, then we'll go ahead and put in some livestock. I think I'm ready for a couple of chickens. Where we actually have soil that will be productive has been a real challenge. And I've learned things, and I've watched things from other people. We tried the demi-lunas, which were full lunas last year. You had some of the look of that. We had a good crop. It was successful. We learned a lot. We almost failed, but we didn't. We were able to step in and add the nutrition that the plants needed when they needed it, and we got a crop from that. We got corn and we got sorghum. And I even have sorghum seeds, and I'll plant another bed of sorghum this year, and so that we can keep that going. So anyway, if you go to our thing, we've got a list out there of the different things that we have experience in and we know how to do. Like this man here, he's put together 5 separate solar systems all on his own. His first one took him like 2 years worth of research, because he actually really researches things. When he knows something, and he's very intelligent. He put together the water systems, both up at the ranch in Idaho and the water systems here. He takes care of the sanitation. We are on composting toilets, and we were on composting toilets for 7 years in Idaho. And you want to know what? We never got sick, because we were careful. We did things right, and we were careful. We were not lackadaisical about it, and we we never got sick, and nobody else got sick from any of those things that we have done before.
And the composting won't go into the regular garden. It's going to be for fruit trees. If we use it on any kind of plants, it'll be like the corn, to feed the nutrition to the plant without getting it anywhere near the food that we're going to eat.
Right.
They say that after a year that there's no parasites or anything left in it. My first pile is actually on its second year, and the second pile is about ready to start its first year of composting. So we're waiting at least 2 years before we do any of that. So if we say compost, we usually mean her compost out in the garden that is
Right.
food scrap.
We've got the two different kinds of compost. We've got the human manure compost, and we've got the regular compost where the worms eat, and I put everything in there because if we don't eat it, food scraps, anything that goes bad, it goes into the compost pile and it ends up in the dirt. And with one of the last videos, you saw me throwing all of that half digested compost down into the beds that I make, and that gets that's going to help the dirt turn into soil.
Steven says you're basically living real life ARC in a way, which is kind of funny. We kind of are. The building's a little different. The grinding is a little bit different. And the dinos that we have here are mountain lions, black bears,
Bobcats.
Yeah, and we've got some. I forgot what they're called. The deer.
Pronghorn antelope.
And
we also have deer. There are elk in the area too, but we don't ever see them.
Yeah, the only real danger is probably the mountain lion, and of course the chupacabras.
Oh God, yeah, can't forget them.
Not here, actually. Yeah. What are they?
What do they call them? Skinwalkers.
The skinwalkers.
The skinwalkers up here in this area.
We're actually really close to the Skinwalker Ranch. Close being relative term in the desert.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of those.
Kinds of fables and stuff around and about. So anyway, we've it's been over 30 years since my dad kind of opened my eyes up to the way the world and governments and things like that are run, and basically I started my food storage and learning about a little more self-sufficiency, and I like to call it now more self-reliance than self-sufficient, because we rely on ourselves to provide the things that a lot of people take for granted out in society. We provide our own power. We go to town and get water, but we provide our own system to make it to where we're not just dipping out of buckets all the time. To where we have actual hot and cold running water. Their sanitation things are taken care of. Food storage is taken care of. I've been doing that for a long time. And food storage with knowing the nutrition that you need to have in your food storage in case we ever actually need to live off of that. I've been a from scratch cooker ever since I was a kid. One of my first memories is making sugar cookies with my Aunt Margaret. I was maybe 4 years old and I had to reach up like this to cut the cookies. But I've cooked all my life. My mom taught me and taught me well. And so some of those things will pass on to you. I've got a couple of videos on that I made for my kids of some of the things that are traditional family recipes. Because I have the area now is called Croatia. It used to be called Yugoslavia. It was part of that, but it broke up and it's now part of Croatia. I have family that came from there, and family that came from the French countryside, and family that came from the slums of London. And then we're pretty sure my grandmother on my father's side, who died when he was 11, we're pretty sure she was German, but we're not for certain because so many of her records were lost. But she was born in Texas, so she was a Texan. And then I spent 10 years as a paramedic, and so I know pre-hospital medicine pretty well. And during my journey in self-reliance and thinking about what the future might be without hospitals and emergency rooms and paramedics that will come at your call and all that other stuff, what are you going to do if you're hurt or injured? So I've done a lot of studying on that too, besides, and of course gardening and that let's see what else.
Oops. Sorry about that.
One of the things that my wonderful husband has learned how to do in the last couple of years is make wine. And
Yep.
we make our own wine. We just did the video on that, and I'm telling you, it's a good glass, and I'm very impressed. And we're making some of the best wine we make is out of the juniper berries that are coming right off of our trees. It's just delightful. I can't explain to you how good it is, but it's fruity, but it's got a little bit of a tanniny bite. It's got a wonderful fragrance, and it's just wonderful. So that's, he's just done wonders with that. It started with making vinegar, because we do our own vinegar, we do our own sauerkraut. We fermented other vegetables, but we don't like them as much as the cabbage. So I'm going to be growing quite a bit of cabbage in the garden this year, as much as I possibly can. Let's see, what else?
Oh, I was just going to mention, we're quite a ways from town, and I may have mentioned it on the water video, but some of the tricks you learn when you're out here, because we have a terrible road to go to town, a terrible road to come back to town. Even the highway is, oh my God, I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
So when I do go to town, I'll go get water. I'll throw the propane in the back to get propane. I'll throw the gas cans to get gas. Judy will get food. We try to schedule doctor's appointments. Like we're going to Wednesday go to Sholo for some shopping, and so I set up an appointment to get the CPAP, if you watched my video on the drama. So that's finally coming through. Took my doctor making a personal phone call to them to tell them to get the equipment I needed. So we schedule all that together so that we make one trip out and one trip back. Instead of $20 to go get
a pack of screwdrivers.
Or 1,000 gallons of water.
Yeah.
I get all this other stuff, and that helps absorb that gas between all of the things to help our budget.
Oh yeah, you learn how to live differently. If you're thinking about living life like this, you need to look at your partner very, very seriously, and have a serious conversation about what they're willing to give up and what they're willing to do and what they're willing to not do.
Yeah, you got to both be on board.
You've got to both be on board, because if you're not willing to use less than, what is it, 3 kilowatts a day of
3 kilowatts a day.
3 kilowatts a day of electricity, if you don't know how to do that, if you're not willing to make the sacrifices for that, then you need to think about it seriously. I mean, if
the exception is ARC, we start the generator.
Gas money for that, then I won't be playing. So you'll have to see me some other time, Cash. But so far we're able to afford the gas, so that I can get on and play, and Mike can get on and cuss.
Yeah.
So
I rage quit the other night, so I probably won't live that down for a
well,
while.
I told him that he needed to quit, because it was going to give him a heart attack. He'd been eating one too many times. What can you say? It does hurt after a while, getting munched on.
Mama told me to go sit in the corner for a while.
Let's see. And when you're out here, you got to get good at maintaining your own equipment, because you can't just run to town and hire somebody to fix things and stuff, because stuff is expensive up here. So he takes care of our equipment maintenance. He's also construction, and I mean, he built some wonderful things for us in the past, and he can't quite build as good as he can be he used to, because he's 65 years old now, folks. He's not 45 anymore. But we have studied and worked with some alternative construction methods. We've got some earth bags. We love doing the domes, and Mike loves doing the domes. And up here, with the wind that we get, if you're going to build anything, you should build it in a dome. Other than that, you're just building faces for the wind to blow things off. I've been working with cob in other ways to cob some of these structures, and that's been quite fun. I've always loved playing in the mud, but we've working with some of those kinds of things too, because you kind of have to just put your hands to what you have. And we have pretty much the perfect clay sand mixture here for adobe. I add a little clay, I add a little cement just because that's me. But if I didn't do anything, we could still make a fine brick or make a fine wall or cob structure or whatever, with just adding a little bit of straw or fluff or something like that to it. Um, a couple of the other things that I do as hobbies is, well, when we were in Idaho, I got sheep because I wanted to learn how to spin my own yarn and to knit. So I taught myself those things, and I still do it. I still love it. I've got, my spinning wheel sits in the corner, and I'm usually playing with it during the morning. That's, morning coffee, and sit with my honey, and and he looks at the news and reads me the news, and I spin and drink my coffee.
I loved sheep. It was such a great animal.
Yeah.
You get the wool from them, you get the meat from them. We actually have milked
Yes.
sheep, and they're easier than cows because when they get out, you can just pick them up and put them over the fence. If they get out and they're down a ways down the canyon, you just rattle a bucket of grain and they come running. They're even better than a dog. I had one that would follow me around, and when I'd stop to like work on a fence or something, a dog would get bored and wander off, where the sheep will just go and eat on a bush until you are ready to move on. So I thought they were really cool. I'd like to get those eventually again if we can feed them here.
Yeah. And that's, I would have sheep here if I had any kind of pasture, but I don't have any kind of pasture, so it's just the way it is. But yeah, we loved our sheep. I miss my sheep. I'm still spinning wool from my sheep. So, they do produce an awful lot more than you think that they do.
I do have a video way back of some of our sheep. It's a short video. It's not a quote short, because back then you didn't have this kind of a medium YouTube thing.
Yeah.
But I did do a little bit of a recording of them, a minute or two long, and also another one. I think it's out there. If not, I'll find it. I took my four-wheeler from one end of our. It's just kind of cold there in the winter and kind of snowy.
Yeah, his health went bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiple things went wrong, and we found that living down here in the deserts of Arizona, those health issues were decreased a lot. So that's why we're here.
We've had a couple people bounce in and out. Thank you for taking a look at us, and feel free to post anything on the chat. We can see it down there, and we'll try to answer any questions anybody has.
Yeah. Let's see, what am I with? Soap making. I make my own soap. Do that also. And I've got an old soap making video up there, and I'm going to review it and see if we're going to repost it or if I'm going to do a new one. I still make the soap the same way I've made it since I started making soap, and it's been 15 years now. 2010 is when I learned how to make soap. That's about when I learned how to do the hand spinning too. I wanted to learn 3 things: home dairy, hand spinning, and soap making. And
the stream's going to stop, and I'm going to restart it.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I don't need to restart it. I just got a message saying they were going to stop it.
Okay. And I let him handle those things, and trust me, if he dies before I do, I will be offline, because I can't keep my computer running without him. He is an absolute guru. He knows how to talk to them from, their language. Shoot, he's just so smart with things like that.
I'm not as current on Windows as I used to be. I won't have anything to do with Windows 11. I do remember some stuff on Windows 10. As soon as we sold the business and I didn't have to have Windows, I converted everything to Linux. And I've always loved Linux. Had Linux one version or another since Slackware version 1, which was just a blank screen on your computer. You still had to do an awful lot. Now it's every bit as good as Windows. There are some of them out there that are even really point and click. You don't need to worry about that flashing little cursor. And it gives you all the programs. We're using a free program right now to stream this software, and it's not perfect, but it's not actually the software that's causing all the glitchy stuff around our heads. That's an addition into it, which I won't go into. But if you ever have any questions, shoot me an email. Be happy to try to help.
Yeah. Speaking of that, questions, folks. Okay, we've got a few people in here.
Well, not now. We've only
not
got
yet.
Steven is the only one left.
Oh,
Everybody
okay.
else bailed.
Well, okay. They poked in and had a look, and that's awesome. They obviously don't really have a lot of questions for us.
We've had 15 at one point, so that's kind of cool.
Okay. So anyway, any questions, Cash? I'll have a hard time calling you Steven because you're Cash. So anyway, yeah, we've been doing about 30 minutes now.
Okay. So yeah, we won't keep you or anybody else that's in here for any longer. We just kind of wanted to reintroduce ourselves and kind of show how we got to where we are. We're learning a lot because the desert is way different than the mountains.
Of Idaho, yeah.
We're still in the we're not. Yeah, we're still in the Rocky Mountains, but we're at the southern end now, so we're having to relearn a lot. And the folks that we've met here have been awesome in helping us to learn, and we're going to do what we can to share with anybody that out there that wants to know.
Yep. So anyway, we'll wrap it up. We'll say goodnight to everybody. Cash, I'll see you in an hour or two on the game. And y'all have a pleasant evening.
Oh, yeah, I will say that I didn't run the generator for this. We can run normal things like a normal household without, as long as we have a little bit of sun. We do have a really good system. But here in about, 4:30? Here in about half an hour, I'll start the generator, and we'll both be on the game. She'll be over in Astrios. I'll be on Appalachia with the Wanderers.
Yes, and yeah, I know it's hard to find questions. You live a very different life than we do, Cash, but learn as much as you can. I mean, it's different. I'd like to know more about your life, and but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I do have a second channel called RV Escape with a 3 instead of an E that I've tried a couple of times to do gaming streams. Nobody really watches it, so and I'm kind of boring. I'm not the most charismatic like some of those guys out there.
No. Yeah, but anyway, well, but he does. He gets killed a lot.
I get killed a lot.
Yeah, he's playing on Wanderers Astros for the moment. Well, I'll probably be in there shortly.
He's on Wanderers Astros right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate Oh, there's a second person in here. Okay. Hi, whoever you are. Oh, shoot. I did it, didn't I?
We did Romper Room.
Every time people do live, it drives me crazy because they spend the first 15 minutes. Hi, Joe. Hi, Susie.
Hi, Joe.
And it reminded me when I was pulled up this, it looked like a mirror, but there was no mirror in it.
It was a magic mirror. It was just
a magic
hoop.
Mirror.
And she could say, I could see Jimmy, and I can see Billy, and there's Susie over there, and there's Jane.
And she'd say Mike, and I go, she saw me!
Yep.
And so I think of that every time people do that, and so I wasn't going to do it,
but I did it. We were very little.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway.
Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll try to do this again. Not sure when, but we'll put out a notice.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Have a fine evening. Good night.